I'm just going to go all in and plant a whole bunch of things and try and get as much shade as I can on this garden. One of the biggest struggles I have in my gardens is shade and the lack of shade. So today we're going to be talking all about creating living shade so that I can protect my veggies and my garden to grow a whole lot of food. If you are new here, hi, welcome, my name is Holly and this is my urban permaculture garden which is in Perth, Australia, which is about a zone 10B. So we get really hot summers, and something that I struggle with the most out here in this garden is the lack of shade cover. So I have no large established trees or anything casting shade, so I set up some temporary shade covers, and if you've been following my channel for a while you would have seen those. They had frames around them and shade cloth, and this worked really well for at least 2 or 3 seasons, but it started to get a little bit annoying with filming. I couldn't sort of get photos of the whole garden because they were all blocked into individual sort of shade structures, and it was always only a short-term solution because my long-term goal was always to get living shade. Space here, I'm going to put in some more raised garden beds. So my thoughts are, if I were to plant here either some deciduous trees or a grapevine, but I think that might be too heavy for these structures. But okay, so it's a very exciting day today. We are installing the new shade structures out the front in the raised garden beds. These are going to be my permanent shade structures that I'm going to grow a living shade on. So yesterday my partner welded these and painted these, and now they are ready to go in the ground. So let's go do that. After the holes were dug, we placed pavers in the bottom of the holes to create a level surface for the structure to stand on until they were cemented into place. We went with metal frames because timber is quite expensive and hard to come by. It also needs to be treated because we have lots of termites in our area, and this just worked out to be the most economical option. My main role in this was to keep out of the way and look busy, and I think I did a pretty good job at that. And now that I have my new shade structure in place, I can start planting all of the things to create the shade. So I have some long-term living shade that I'm going to get planted in the garden today, but it's going to take a few years to create enough shade cover. So I also have some quick growing crops that we're going to plant as well. So for my long-term living shade, I've decided to grow grapes. So the great thing about grapes is that they lose their leaves in winter, which means it's going to let all the light into my veggie patch in winter when I need it, and have this lush green shade cover in summer when I want to protect it. I could have gone with something else like passion fruit, but that would create a shade cover all year round, and I just wouldn't get enough light here in winter. So I've gone with 2 varieties of grape. I've got the black Maru seedless and also a green Perlet grape. But first up, I need to get these in the ground so that we can get them growing and reach the top of the arbor by the end of the season, and so that next year potentially we can get some shade cover. I'm planting the grapes on the outside of the garden beds so that I don't take up excess room that I don't need to, and there was the perfect space beside them. So I've got the holes right on the end here by these 2 end pillars so that I can train them. I'm going to have one growing along this side, one growing along this side, and have 2 different types of grape. I've mixed up a batch of soil in my wheelbarrow, and I've got a mix of some seed raising mix, some compost, some worm castings, and now I'm just going to mix this through with the basically pure sand that my natural soil is, so I can plant my grapes. With the grapes planted, I have to now plant some quick growing crops so that I can try and get shade cover up by the time summer arrives. And so I'm going to plant these, which are the cucuzzas. This is like a type of bottle gourd, and I grew this last year and I loved it. So I'm going to grow a few different types of bottle gourds on this structure. These ones have just sprouted up first, so I'm going to get one of these in one of the garden beds. I've also got a choco that I planted, that's another sort of perennial climbing plant that's going to produce food. So I am just going to go all in and plant a whole bunch of things and try and get as much shade as I can on this garden. I still might need to put up a shade cover, so I've got all the shade cloth saved from when I had the other shade structures up, so I may need to put that up, just because it is going to be so hot in summer, and this is metal, so I'm still trying to see how that's going to play out, and if it gets too hot, I may need to keep the shade cover up permanently. Grapes are in. I've added mulch around. I've got pea straw, which is going to break down and feed the plants as well, but I will get some extra mulch before we get to summer, so it's nice and thick and hopefully keep it cool. I may need to add more shade just to protect them while they're younger this summer, but don't worry about the grass creeping in. It's on a one-way ticket. The grass dies over summer, and I think I'm going to solarize it and lay down mulch anyway, so next year we may not have grass, to make way for my project on the other side of this garden. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you can follow along as I continue to develop my gardens and add more exciting things and grow a whole lot more food.